Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. There's no place like your home. It's always good to see you, YouTube friends. So today I'm continuing working on my pumpkin roll, and from my last video, you saw that I did actually make a homemade pumpkin puree, and I want to make a pumpkin roll today with that. So let's get started here. I'll have to put my glasses on, which I don't like to wear, but in order for me to best show you what's up, I need my glasses. So here we go. First step is I've got my oven on 350, if you're able to see that. And I've done a little bit of prep work. So I greased my pan here, sprayed it with some organic olive oil, and then I'm doing this with parchment as well, and put a thin coating of the olive oil on that so the pumpkin roll, won't stick when it's time to take it out. And I'll tell you, this is a very simple recipe. It's always a crowd pleaser. And it really doesn't take much work or ingredients. It's really not an expensive dessert to make. So think about that, when you're coming into looking for some ideas for your dessert table anytime this fall and definitely Thanksgiving. So I got a pumpkin pie pumpkin at Walmart. Last week, and it was $2.37 for that particular pumpkin. So I'm going to be able to make, I would say, 3 pumpkin rolls with this amount of puree. Now you can get it canned, and then they have them on sale at different times, for about $1 or so. So I do still have my Libby's pumpkin, and I have even gotten the organic. I've just gotten different kinds of canned pumpkins, but I thought puree. But I thought I really want to try making this homemade. This can't be that hard, and it's really not. So I have, as I said, I've done some prep work already, and I've got my flour measured out, my salt, my ground cinnamon, and my pumpkin pie spice all measured out, and sugar. So the recipe I'm using calls for 3/4 cup of all-purpose flour, and I've got that in my sifter already. A 1/2 teaspoon of the salt, a teaspoon of soda, baking soda, and a teaspoon of ground cinnamon, and a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice, and then a cup of granulated sugar. So I'm going to sift this out, and as I said, it's a very simple recipe, doesn't really call for a lot, and I still prefer using the cane sugar, a little more natural as opposed to the granulated white sugar, although in some of my recipes, I've found that the white sugar definitely works better. So I've used that at times. So I've got this all sifted here. And it's really, pretty much that quick. And I am going to take 2/3 cup of the pumpkin puree. I just want to make sure you get to see the process, really more than anything. So I'm going to scoop out 2/3, and this just came out so beautiful. I baked it, let it cool, I peeled the skin off, and then just pureed it last night. And I used my hand mixer. You can use I think a food processor, whatever, that's motorized, but I just used my little hand mixer there, and that worked out perfectly. So I'm getting my 2/3 cup of fresh pumpkin in here, and I always do a little more than called for. Okay, and as I said, I've got 2 more pumpkin rolls that definitely will be able to be made with this. And it's really not that hard. If you've ever baked squash, any of the squashes, you know, to eat, or anything, any of these, I don't know, what are they? Not gourds, but you know, squash, acorn, pumpkin, you know, you can just bake them in a nice water bath and they really just come out beautifully to eat. So these are my 3 eggs. And then I'm going to put those in with my flour mixture here. And then my pumpkin. And I'm just excited because I've never done this. So you figure if I get 3 pumpkin rolls out of that pumpkin, I am, you know, I'm good to go with this. And I've saved a little bit of money. And I've almost forgotten, I need a teaspoon of vanilla, so I'll get that in there. But you can see the batter, it's coming together. Let's get that up there. Almost like a cake batter. And let's get that teaspoon of vanilla in there. And you can get natural vanilla or you can get the clear vanilla. And I use the clear vanilla mainly for anything that the dark vanilla is going to affect the color, like sugar cookies or an icing. So that's something to think about as well. But just putting that teaspoon of vanilla in there is going to just give it that extra rich flavor. And then has just made this a very nice batter. Okay, it's that simple. There you have it. So let's bring this around to the stove. All right, and again, I guess I need to lower the legs on this tripod, but I'm going to pour this back and forth so it's an even layout. And you only have to cook this, bake this for, I think it's between 12 and 14 minutes. And what I've come to know with my oven, 13 does the job, about 13 minutes. So I don't have one made already to show you the next step. This is going to be, I guess, I'll be making these videos, you know, as I do them. But then you want to just make sure that you get that batter into every corner and as evenly as possible. And this is very, very nice. I love the look and the texture. And as I said, I was nervous, but I thought, why, you know, this is better, doing your own fresh pumpkin. And it's how it was always done. So I don't think I'm doing anything that's not going to work out. I'll tell you, you could eat a pumpkin roll itself. You know, you could put this batter, I would say, into small little tins, small cupcake holders, just to have it by itself. It really speaks volumes for itself. So let me show you what we have here before it goes into the oven. And I hope I get this. There we go. That's just beautiful. Very nice. All right, and she's going in. have a little timer. I guess it's in the other room right now. I'll get that out. But my pan, it's a jelly roll. Sometimes I just forget my thinking. So, okay, this recipe is calling for 12 to 15 minutes. So I'm going to put this out for about 13 and check it at that point. All right, I'll be back and I'll show you the next step in rolling it. And I found these nice towels, real thin, and I just rinsed them in scalding hot water from the store and then dried them out. And I'll put my pumpkin roll on this that will be sprinkled with powdered sugar, and I'll roll that up to get that rolled look. So I'll be back and I'll have my icing done as well, and I hope you will enjoy this video and consider making some things homemade for yourself. As always, there is no place like your home. There's no place like you, and no person like you. And if you like my channel, please like and subscribe. I'll be back soon, and I don't know. I guess I kind of have a little bit of a wonky channel, and that's okay. That's who I am. See you soon.